Hey guys, my name's KJ and I've had the privilege of working as a professional photographer for nearly the last decade now across a lot of different areas in the field, from commercial and editorial work, weddings, university work, athletics, and even food. I certainly don't know everything, but I want this to be a place where I can share a bit of what I've learned over the years and my thoughts on what it's actually like working full-time in the creative industry. Thanks for being here at the start of this YouTube journey, and I hope you enjoy this one. I think something I've learned in the last 10 years of photography is that style isn't necessarily presets or gear or even a particular aesthetic. That it's something that as you look back over your body of work, it's the consistent decisions that you see over time. It's what you were drawn to, the light you were drawn to, the compositions you were drawn to, the subject matter you were drawn to. So today I want to talk about how to stop trying to find your style in things that ultimately don't define it, and how to begin seeing it in your work now. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about style. I think that we all kind of go through it. I think that we all look for our style in presets. We scroll the internet looking for the best look that we like. We buy all of these things, we buy these presets, and then ultimately we just find ourselves disappointed with them. And I think a big part of that is because we're looking in the wrong places, or we're thinking about it in the wrong way. And we've all been there, right? We've all looked and tried to find the thing that defines our work and the thing that makes our work what it is, that we can stand out in the crowd, that we can be different. And I think that instead of trying to look for style and look for the things that define our work in things like presets or gear, I think that we need to begin paying more attention to the decisions that we make when we shoot, the things that we're drawn to. Really, our style is a pattern. It's the choices that we make over time. And I think that when you look back over your work, over a period of time, you begin to see those consistencies, and you begin to see the decisions that you made over a period of time where maybe you chose to photograph the same subject over and over and over. Maybe you were drawn to the same kind of light. Maybe you see a lot of symmetry in your work. Maybe you see a lot of asymmetry in your work. I think that those are all things as time goes on that begin to kind of define your look and define your style. And sure, I think that our post-processing and the way that we edit our photos can certainly play a role into that and can certainly affect that. But I think that ultimately it's those things, those decisions that really define our work. Because in some ways, it's kind of our own fingerprint on our work. Those are the things that are unique to us and unique to who you are. And I think that that's something that no one else can ever replicate. My work has certainly changed over time. I've bought all the presets. I've bought the gear thinking that maybe this will be it. And sometimes those decisions can certainly play a factor into things. If you're consistently drawn to the same subject matter, the same compositions, the same kind of light, maybe even the same kind of mood, I think those are things that are important to keep in mind and to pay attention to. Those are things that ultimately are going to define your work and define your style. It's important to remember that this is something that is going to reveal itself as time goes on. You're going to look back at your work over a period of time, and you're going to see consistencies in the decisions that you made that were consistent throughout that time. And sure, some of those things you may be doing now. You may look back at your work a year from now and find that you're already making consistent decisions. But I think that as time goes on, you're going to see maybe some of those decisions change because you're drawn to different things, and that's okay. You know, those things can shift and can change. The truth is, you probably already are. You probably already are making consistent decisions in your work. You just haven't noticed the patterns yet. If you look back at your work, you'll see consistency through it. Maybe you're photographing the same locations over and over. I know for me, I love walking through my neighborhood and doing little photo walks. And there's this apartment building that I have photographed just over and over and over. I photographed it in different seasons, different times of day, different light. And I'm drawn to it because where it sits, the light always hits it in such a unique way, depending on the time of day. And also the shape of the building is kind of interesting to me. And so I'm really drawn to it every time that I see it. It doesn't look like anything else on the street, so it always stands out to me for whatever reason. If you're struggling to see the consistencies in your work, something that's been really helpful for me is to go back over the years and to look through my work and to really compile kind of a best of gallery, really. So at the end of each calendar year for the last 3 years, I've gone through all of my work for that year and trimmed it down to my favorites or a best of, and sometimes I've done a couple different culls to go through it. But I think when I've done that, I can really look at that body of work for the year, and I can see the consistencies in the decisions that I made. I find that I'm really drawn to people, and I love telling people stories. And I love telling people stories in their spaces. I like to be able to come and to be a part of their life where they are and to photograph them where they are. I think that people are more comfortable that way, but I also think that it is a good representation really of their life. And that's something that I oftentimes feel really drawn to. There's a genuineness to it that I think is hard to get in other places. So maybe go through your work for this last year. Pull your favorite 50 photos and look through them. Maybe even print out your top 10. Lay them out in front of you. I think having them visually in front of you and being able to see them and look over them can really help to find the consistencies in them, and can really help to be able to see, you know, what are the things that you're doing over and over? Are you looking at, the same subject matter? Put together your favorites and then look through them and try to see what the consistencies are. And if you're not sure what the consistencies are, then maybe find someone that you trust, maybe a friend or another photographer who maybe knows your work and can maybe see those things. It's likely that other people already see the consistencies in your work before you've even realized it. If you want to start building a body of work that reflects you, then shooting as often as possible is really going to help you do that. You need to have a body of work to look back on and to see the consistencies in. And so partly that's just getting out there and just doing it. I think sometimes we put things off because we're afraid that maybe it won't be good or maybe people won't like it. Because if you're constantly creating work with someone else in mind, then you are never going to come through that work. I think it's important to give yourself permission to change. It's okay for your work to be a snapshot of who you are in that moment. Now, when it comes to client work, there's obviously a need to be consistent. You don't want a client to book you and then, you deliver images that don't look anything like what they saw in their portfolio. As time goes on, you're going to see those consistencies through your work. You're going to see the things that you were drawn to over and over. And honestly, others might already see those things in your work. Once you've seen the consistencies through your work, you can really start to lean into that. And maybe that looks like a project or a zine, or maybe just continuing to photograph the same things because it's creatively fulfilling for you. And that's great. Those things will take time. Be patient with yourself. Don't feel like that you need to figure this out overnight. And be okay with making work that isn't great in the meantime. Everything doesn't have to be the best thing that you've ever shot every time you shoot it. It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Go after what's interesting to you, because what's really interesting to you might be completely fresh for someone else. So if you're struggling to find your style, maybe stop chasing it and just create work that you care about, because ultimately that's what matters. Keep showing up, keep photographing the things that you love, and eventually those consistencies are going to reveal themselves. Let me know in the comments what patterns you see in your work. I'd love to hear from you.